Welcome to episode 39 of the Play Your Yards Right podcast. As always, I am Sasha here with my wonderful co-hosts Sarah and Mike, and the Super Bowl is in the books. Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl champions once again, and I think we're all kind of tired of it, except for maybe Sarah, because A, she got to watch it from a beautiful, beautiful Caribbean nation, and also because the 49ers still stay one behind your Dallas Cowboys on the all-time
Mhm.
Super Bowl list. So, Sarah, we'll start with you. How are you feeling about the Chiefs winning yet again?
I'm honestly not as excited as I thought I would be because this whole game, I was just like, I have no idea who I was rooting for. Like, every both times I was just like, get a stop, get a stand here. Like, I was like, rooting for a defensive battle here, because I'm sick of the Chiefs, just like everyone else is. The only reason I was rooting for the 49ers was because of that, taking a lead on the Cowboys, and that just wasn't enough really to get me into it on this one. So it was just a bizarre Super Bowl for me. I was on vacation, so I watched this on the beach actually. They set up a nice little screen so the wind was like howling in my ear. I had like sand all over my ear from sitting on the side because I had to try and get in the front row for it.
Did
But
the
yeah,
did the sand in your ear make Tony Romo sound any better?
no, no. Unfortunately not. Maybe I was kind of hoping we would have no sound. I actually watched the fourth quarter in Spanish because we ended up going back to our room and then we turned on the TV and it was obviously only in Spanish. So I did watch the fourth quarter and all I could hear was Pat Mahomes, CMC. And then that's literally like
Oh,
yeah,
yo no
everything else.
say, Jim. Yo no say.
Oh,
Yep. So I didn't have to get any Tony Romo in the fourth quarter, which was probably when he was thriving, I'm sure, with how this
Hmm.
game played out in overtime as well. So yeah, I guess overall though, like so blah. I just didn't want either team to win. We're all sick of the Chiefs. We know that. The 49ers just did their thing. This just seems to be the narrative they're falling under with Kyle Shanahan. And it was just a very, very lackluster Super Bowl for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, I mean it completely was. I mean, no whatever, no points in the first quarter. It's usually what you can get behind if you don't really have a dog in the fight. You can at least hope for points. I mean, obviously it ended up being tight, being exciting at the end, but that first half just felt like a slog. It was just turnover, mistakes, sloppy. I mean, the defenses clearly really came ready to go.
Mhm.
But that, you got what you wanted in the first half if you wanted a defensive battle, but it would just felt like it flew by, and I was pretty ready for the halftime show, and hopefully there to be something that would give the teams a chance to get their shit together and maybe score some points in the second half.
Yeah, and I think it was, like, weird because the first half of the game, this 49ers, they looked incredible from a defensive standpoint, everything was going wrong for the Chiefs, so we all were like, "Hmm, what's happening
Yeah.
here?" But then as soon as, like, the tide started to shift, like, going into the start of the second half, everyone was like, "I've seen this before. We know what's gonna happen here," and we all just knew. I felt like I was like, "I feel like everyone knows the Chiefs are gonna come away with this game," once things started turning in the second half. So it was very just, like, I don't know, it was a close game, but it never really felt like one, oddly.
Yeah, I was watching the game with some not huge football fans, and I was, at half, I was just like, "This, what you do now is you put all of your money on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are down at
Mhm.
halftime in the Super Bowl. You just bet on the Chiefs. You don't think about it, and that's just what you do." And they're like, "No, no, no, the 49ers, they're leading," and it's like, "No,
Yeah.
we've seen this before. We watch enough. This is just not what Pat Mahomes does. This is not what the Chiefs do." It was all we. This is when I look back on all of our predictions and all of our scores. It's like we were all pretty goddamn close. Like we figured it was going to be a close game and the Chiefs were going to win. All of our scores were very very close to being right. So it's at the end of the day, what happened was what we thought was going to happen is exactly what happened. The thing I mean, the turnovers were bad. I think the real big, like that Dre Greenlaw injury, I think sucked
Real bad. Yeah.
so bad. Not even, obviously, I mean, that's a terrible injury no matter what, but I immediately just got that, like, Mike and I, we watched that together, that, like, the Kevin Durant, that Achilles pop,
Yeah.
like in the NBA playoffs. It just felt like this,
Shout out recovery room East Greenbush.
yeah. I never knew a place that deserved a shout out less.
World's worst sports bar.
But it just felt like that was just like this last, this little omen, completely freak thing, not even in a play, about to run onto the field after a punt. And he's in the stupidest little cart. Like, I think that's been the theme of this year is like the same. There was no cart when Trevor Lawrence hurt himself. And then they got this like little smart car. They got like a zip car for that he basically drive himself off in when he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl in Vegas. It's like we can't get this
Kind of
guy.
weird that they wouldn't even let him ride in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, the other little
They
guys
made
just
him
like
ride that all the trainers were in the
Yeah.
back. I'm like, shouldn't this guy be on the back?
Yeah.
just so funny. But I mean, the Chiefs did their thing. Purdy played well. I expected him to fall flat against that Chiefs defense, and I mean, he played pretty decent. He did hit the over in his passing yards, but that kneel down at the end did get me lucky with his under for the rushing yards. He played pretty decent. Was he the second best quarterback on his team behind Jawan Jennings in this game? People are saying.
Some
Yeah.
might say.
Jawan Jennings almost won a lot of people a lot of money, bet him to win MVP.
That would have been
He was
so
right there,
crazy.
man.
I mean, if they won, I don't know if it.
He was the guy for sure.
He was 100%. I mean, it was exciting. It like making a lot of clutch catches. I mean, McCaffrey is just so good. It's like people are like, oh, McCaffrey only had X amount of yards per carry. It's like he still had 80 rushing, 80 receiving. He was all over the place. I mean, he's just absolutely unbelievable. And the Chiefs were just better in the second half, and coaching reared its ugly head. And now it's like, we're recording this a few days after. You guys been seeing all these clips that just keep coming out about basically how bad the 49ers look on the sidelines and how good the Chiefs, they're like, oh, they wanted the ball. That's exactly what we wanted to do. And they're like, oh, that's perfect. We were going to go for 2. We're going to go, we're going to do all these things. And they go to the 49ers sideline. It's just Juszczyk being like, did you know that they get the ball after this? And it's just, it's just such an extra bad look.
That goes into the category of the coaching things that make me angry when coaches are blowing things. It's how are you getting paid millions of dollars and your sole focus is to know the rules of football and to like be able to manage the thing, and you don't know that. Like it's just like I can't believe that they don't know that they didn't know that or didn't review that or didn't have a plan.
Like
it's unacceptable.
How does he not know? Because like everything else about that whole organization was like they're just built on their laurels, and it's a great run organization from top to bottom, and the coaching is great, and it's creative, and they have all these guys, and they bring stuff in, and they found they found Brock Purdy in the last pick, and like just something so simple. Like I just don't like how does something like that fall through the cracks?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
How does that not, like, if you're building like a schedule for the 2 weeks of coaches meetings, players meeting, team meetings, how many coaches are on a staff? Not so one many. Person was like, hey, well, by the way, we need to review overtime in our strategy and also just review like the rule book.
Yeah.
They don't have like an end of game meeting, do they not? Like, I would assume all teams have a meeting as to like, all right, in the last 2 minutes, how do we want to attack this team? Yeah. And at that meeting, wouldn't you end up with like, and if it goes to overtime, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I gotta play blackjack. What happened?
It makes absolutely no sense to me. And
none.
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, never have been, but I am a guy that when I'm shown something, am very willing to admit that I'm wrong. I don't like to, but if I'm shown proof, and the thing that's been going around that I've seen the past 2 days, the Chiefs' offensive line has not had a single holding penalty called against them in 3 Super Bowls. They were the most penalized offensive line holding wise all season this year. And now all of the sudden, I mean, there's obviously, you can basically pick apart any play, be like, look, there was holding here, there's holding here. Like you can do that throughout the whole season. But not having a single holding call called against you all game for 3 straight Super Bowls is absolutely fucking insane, and just can't be like that. You can't ignore facts. You can, that's not really that's not no longer a conspiracy theory. This is just an act. Like it's an anomaly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think that's a conspiracy theory at all. I didn't realize that. That makes me so angry. I feel like it's just, I don't know. And it's, where is that coming from? In terms of like what is the origin of that, right? That's where the conspiracy theory comes in, is whether they're told to be doing this or if there's just some sort of internal bias where it's just like the other way. Who knows? But I mean, yeah, you definitely can't ignore that because that's just not possible. Like to go through 3 full football games without getting a holding call. Like, that's unheard
Of the highest pressure game too. This isn't some like game where they're just trying to work on their motions and really, we're really focusing on that. Like you're going against the guy, you're going against, Chase Young. You're going against, one of the Bosas. Like they're guys that are getting to the quarterback, and your offensive line has been like, has been bad all season. Now
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're the greatest brick wall like this league has ever seen. I'm sure part of it's coaching, and yeah, there may be sure maybe they played a great game, but it's like you're seeing a million of these clips where they're Joe whatever Bosa's getting thrown to the ground and getting held from
Mhm.
behind, and it's just like you tell me not one of these like went against the Chiefs. It's mind blowing.
I find it. I think it's something where, and I don't like it because I mean we suffer if you're like a full season football fan, you're watching every game, so you're going through the regular season when I feel like they call games accurately and sometimes almost too accurately. And I don't know if it's for an entertainment factor of like that flags slow the game down, and for like the casual, if it becomes like a laundry fest out there that they're gonna not be into it or not want to watch it again next year. But they do swallow their whistles in these games. It's like I think wasn't it like almost 2 quarters without a penalty at all? And
Yeah.
it's like I've watched games where there's the Bills had like 11 penalties called on them in the first half against the
Yeah.
Eagles in the one game. And that's just one game that comes to mind. Like you see it all the time when the refs decide, like these are supposed to be their top officiating crews.
Mhm.
You know, if is this a serious game or is it just an entertainment at this point? Because it's weird to have the championship game be almost like an exhibition of like the fun of the NFL. It should be like how the game should be called. It should be called even tighter.
Yeah.
And yeah, you do see those penalties. And then the one penalty you get was the whole defensive holding on the Chiefs. And they're like, well, Purdy got bailed out by the refs. And it was like such a blatant penalty. And I'm like, you can't, it showed me, I guess, from an outsider that like you can't win in this. Like, no matter what, like people don't want flags called.
And like I'm kind of okay with it, but if it goes both ways, it's like Trent
Right.
in the first drive in the first quarter, like Trent Williams got called for like 2 penalties back to back. Like he's widely considered to be like one of the greatest offensive linemen of all time. So it's like some no name second stringer because like the Chiefs whatever their guard or whoever it was that tore their pec. It's like you're telling me that guy
Yeah,
didn't like
Tooney.
Tooney. You tell me he didn't hold one
I know.
time, and like Trent Williams, the greatest left tackle in the game for the past like decade, is is getting called for it. I've always been this way where it's like the game just needs to be called one way. I feel like it's especially in baseball, basketball a little bit, but baseball, it's like if you have a strike zone, like this is what the game is. The players need to adapt to whatever's going on in this game. But like I would even feel a little better about it. Like not a single holding call has been called in 3 straight Super Bowls. It's fine, but it's like just not against one team. And there, and obviously you see the clips, they look way worse in slow motion. And when they're just the only clip you're seeing on Twitter, it's like they look egregious. Bosa was thrown to the ground like 4 separate times. And it's like, oh, that would be crazy, but it's like show them on both sides. Like if we're not calling holdings,
Mhm.
fine, we're not calling holdings anywhere this whole game, and it's like now we know what we can get away with. It's just in baseball, guys got a low strike zone. Maybe let some of the balls up top. You don't have to worry about them. That's fine. If it works for both sides and it's consistent, I don't care. But this is proven to be now not consistent for 3 Super Bowls.
It's crazy.
Yeah, holding in general is such a tricky
Yeah.
because they're like offensive linemen and defensive linemen will tell you there's holding on every play.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just like it's so subjective and it's tough because I mean it's not like it's a rule you can get rid of or else there goes your pass rush. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, that's always going to leave whatever fan base lost wondering what's
Mhm.
going on.
Another thing I
It's
feel like
tricky.
we've heard a lot too. I'm looking at some of these videos now, which I guess obviously all the Twitter videos are just of the Chiefs offensive line. I've heard people like those linemen talk about how or that on the Patriots, it's like if you're on offense, wear the same color gloves as whatever the other team's jersey is. And it looks
Mhm.
like all these guys are wearing white gloves compared to the white jersey. So it's like I don't know if any of those 49ers are wearing red gloves. It could be something as ticky-tacky as that, where it's just like the extra good coaching of like it's harder to see, it's harder, the white on white, red on red, whatever your color would be. Try to do something like that, but I don't know. I'm a facts guy. I'm a facts guy, and I don't like the facts. And maybe I'm just looking for something because I'm just upset of the same nonsense happening, and I'm tired of seeing these stupid, Travis and Mahomes just getting hammered and having to give their stupid speeches. It's just boring. We've seen it before. I'm ready for something else. But at the same time, why don't we just bet the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl next year? Because it's probably just what's going to happen. And we're
Plus
probably
650. It's plus 650.
it's not really as good as I want it to be.
No.
I know, but it would feel nice next Super Bowl if you
Yeah,
bet it.
that's true. Yeah, maybe we'll wait for them to lose a couple games beginning of the year, and then we can get in on it then. But Super Bowl, any other things you guys feel like you need to get off your chest for the Super Bowl, or are we putting this season to bed?
For me, it's in the coffin. It's done.
R.I.P.
I think the long national nightmare of having to see Taylor Swift is probably over because I can't imagine she's going to put in the travel schedule again next year. What do you think? You think they're dating next year?
No.
I think they probably will be. How much longer is Kelsey going to play?
He's playing next year.
It
They're
depends
gonna
on
win.
how
They're
many.
going for number 3.
I feel like it depends how many acting doors and things like that this opens up for him, right? Like in terms of next stage of his career and everything. Who knows? But how do you walk away right now? I mean, they do have an option, for another repeat, and I feel like not yet, maybe soon in the coming years, but I think he'll be back next year.
But if
Should Travis Kelsey be charged with assault for hitting Andy Reid?
that was aggressive, yeah, how do we not talk about that? That was wild, and like there seems like they're keeping that a little bit under like lock and key, but that was pretty insane. He also didn't he didn't bump Dan Campbell. Like Andy Reid's not the sturdiest of guys. Like he could definitely have fallen.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
feel like you got to have a pee test after that. Like that's
Yeah.
a roid rage.
Yeah.
it's annoying because it was one of those things that definitely would have gotten a lot more publicity if they had lost. Like if the Chiefs have lost, that would be like, oh, everyone's talking about analyzing it. Should there be consequence, etc. But as soon as like they started heading the direction of winning this game, I was like, this is going to be so blown under the table as much as it possibly could be because of that, which is annoying.
Yeah, imagine if Stephon Diggs did that. Seriously. Or Odell Beckham did that to John Harbaugh on the sideline if they went to the Super Bowl.
Odell would have just been arrested.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a very crazy moment.
Yeah,
Like
it was scary.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And it wasn't even like not that that's like ever appropriate behavior, but I felt like it wasn't even like the right scenario for him to really be that pissed off about not being on the field. Like, I don't know. It's not like it was a play really, so I guess it was kind of play calling, but you know what I mean? Like it was a little offhanded, like sort of second relation to him where it was like, why are you having such a disproportionate response to this right now?
Yeah, it's not like they were down 30-6 or something. Like it was still very early. So I don't know what it was actually about, but
I felt for Taylor Swift at that moment.
I think we all did.
She's got to go home to that animal.
One of my favorite things was like when Travis at the end was screaming the Viva Las Vegas, and then it would like cut to Taylor Swift, and somebody on Twitter was just saying this is the exact moment where she realized that her kids were going to have an IQ of 17.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody told me to look up his old tweets about the squirrel tweets. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Oh, he tweeted back in the day. Travis tweeted out. I just gave a squirrel spelled SQUIRLE.
Okay.
Just gave a squirrel a piece of bread and it straight smashed all of it. I had no idea they ate bread like that. Haha.
Right. Good point.
Woof.
Wow. Yikes.
I would have loved to have been in his head at that moment, but the only reason I think that
you'd have been the only one in there.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about her, like if you said this long national nightmare is over, the only thing I would be excited to watch the Chiefs for is if they do break up and she comes out with some like song about how terrible he was or something, how quickly that all of the Swifties would turn on the Chiefs and Taylor Swift, and that would be I think an absolute party to watch.
I hope we get that. We really do.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
We will see. So I was trying to look up any other positive news. I'm like, all right, so we're on to next season. This one's done. So I started Googling, figuring out any sort of Giants hope I could try to get excited for. And it just made me more sad because I basically just realized that the Giants have the second longest odds to win the Super Bowl next year. Only in front of the Panthers. And then obviously we have the second worst odds to win the NFC. Again, only behind Carolina. So maybe it just got worse. The only thing that made me a little happy is that it seems like we're maybe trying to get Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins, which I guess could be excited. It could be good to, what you always want to bring in a guy to be your number one receiver who is a number two receiver on their team already. I think that's
What about
definitely
Daniel
good.
Jones? What's his rehab looking like?
Who
Is
knows?
he going to be like back week 1?
I think that's what they're shooting for. That's what, it's far too early for them to not be hoping for that, but it doesn't seem like they have anything else in the wings of replacement or who would be starting week 1 other than him.
You gotta put a future on them to win the NFC East.
What's their win total at? I feel like take that. That sounds like a shot.
They won't have that yet. They won't have that
Yeah,
yet.
this is too much
Well,
going
hop
on.
on
But
that.
yeah,
Because I
100.
feel like second worst odds for that. Like that's I feel like there's teams ahead. Like maybe not. I don't know.
The
I mean,
Commanders are going to be worse.
I'm expecting them to be better and make a lot of moves. I mean, it seems like they're just at least hopeful, and maybe people are excited that they could be something else. I think that they'd just be totally different. New coach, new vibes, I guess. But it just made me sad that it was like there's nobody in Vegas or nobody gambling that like thinks the Giants could turn this around. So I mean,
Well,
whatever.
wait. Good news. You're tied for the second longest odds
Good.
with the Titans, the Patriots, and the Commanders.
Okay, it's good company.
There you go. Yeah, at least you're not alone.
It's good. Misery does love company.
That's right.
So,
yeah. Well, I guess
I don't know. I think your team could turn it around.
I hope so
Quickly.
If he doesn't, I think Dable's probably out. I can't imagine, but I'm still in. I'm still hopeful. I'm still trusting, but this usually leads to me being hurt.
Yeah, as it does for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, on the Cowboys front, there was drama per usual in the past week or so, with hiring a new defensive coordinator in Dan Quinn's absence. So it came out a couple weeks ago. We talked about it on the last podcast. Mike Zimmer, former Vikings coach, was set to be the shoo-in. But then all of a sudden, I was on vacation, so I wasn't following it too much. But all of a sudden, I'm seeing this stuff about the Cowboys brought in Rex Ryan for the defensive coordinator position. Jerry Jones loved him. He loved his energy. They got along well. And I was like, what is this? Like, I thought Zimmer was pretty much a done deal. We do not want Rex Ryan. Like, no, absolutely not.
Are you sure?
I've had Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan and Mike McCarthy, like, picture that. Like, I don't want to see that combo together. I feel like they would just potentiate the worst qualities in each other.
I really want to see that. Oh, how much barbecue would be in that building?
Too much.
The guy who makes the soup for McCarthy on the sideline is going to need a raise.
Because you know that Rex also comes with Rob too. I'm sure like they're a package deal. It was a D-line coach or something. Oh man, I would love that.
But then I think ultimately, I think what happened was it got leaked somehow too early about the Zimmer, situation, and they hadn't yet set up any sort of contract negotiations or anything. So I think what happened was, this is just my speculation, that Jerry Jones, they had to put something out there that maybe there was someone else in contention, because otherwise, I mean, Zimmer gets whatever he wants, right? They prematurely announced, that he's defensive coordinator and he hasn't yet formulated a contract, which I'm sure he's worrying about. If Mike McCarthy's out next year, he's not going to want to be kicked to the curb after just 1 year there, right? So he's probably trying to work it from that end. So it seems pretty set in stone now. We're free of Rex Ryan. Zimmer will be our defensive coordinator. I'm excited for it. I've been reading some stuff about, kind of his coaching mentality, more, disciplinarian, hard-nosed guy, which I think is exactly what we need, especially to rein in the penalties. So that's looking up, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm still feeling pretty down on the Cowboys, so I'm going to give myself some space, I think, this year, and just, take a few steps away from them for a few months. Draft time, maybe get more involved in it, but I feel like I need a break from them this year for sure.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame it.
I listened to all week Stephon Diggs giving interviews being like, whatever happens. It's like, you're very much under contract with a ton of dead cap like, you're not a free agent. You're also not tradable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'll see you in September.
I'll fall back in love with you in the fall.
Yeah. Jeez. Enough already. Can't do
But
this.
it's time for us to move on to basketball. We're going to have to start getting more into this now. I've been watching the Knicks and getting very excited, obviously, aside for the past past probably week or so since Julius Randle went down with that injury, because despite how bad he's been in the playoffs, he's been incredible so far this year. Jalen Brunson, I just love him so goddamn much. He's such a Knicks guy. He embodies everything so well. We've had some guys go down. We're bringing new players in. I have the feeling that like we're trying and we're doing stuff. I feel like we've made far and away the most moves of just anyway, nothing for, it's not like we're getting Dame Lillard or any of these guys. I mean, I guess Terry Rozier to the Heat was pretty huge, and I think that was really good for them. But some of these guys that we brought in, a lot of pieces to kind of build around. We got some shooters. I love Josh Hart, who's obviously been here all year, but I
Bogdanovich is really good.
think he's going to be a really, really good piece. So just kind of hoping get some rest over the All-Star break and come back strong. So I'm just excited to have kind of all of my focus on this again, probably to just have my heart ripped out, probably in the second
And
round.
Mitchell Robinson looking like he's definitely coming back by the playoffs.
He'll be back for a week, and then he's going to have some other injury. He's hurt me too much to believe that he can play more than 10 games in a row.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, Hartenstein. You got Hartenstein.
It's
my favorite name to say.
He's great. It's a little German to you, a little scary, but he was also hurt. So I don't know what his timetable to come back is, but we just have like we're real battered now. I think the All-Star break came at a perfect time where hopefully we can get a week to get everybody's act together and come back healthy. But I'm cautiously optimistic because the team has been fun and they've shown they can blow some teams out. They've been down and they can still come back and win some games from behind. So win on the road, we're winning some like even second games off of back to back, which I think being able to do that is all crazy, especially the way that Thibodeau coaches, where he's just like, I got starters and I'm going to play them all 40 minutes. So if if we have the fortitude and the strength and the the lungs to be able to win any of these back to back, so I think this is promising for the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm putting my efforts into college basketball right now. NBA, a little too early NBA season for me. We're 4.5 weeks out from March Madness right now, so that's exciting.
Hell yeah.
Because even before that, we have a couple good week or so of good conference, championship games. So we're getting into it with the heat of college basketball. So let me put my efforts back in there. It's looking like UConn right now is probably the heavy favorite, I would guess. They've been number 1 seed for a couple weeks now, so we'll see. But last year they won their title. Obviously, they had a rough kind of mid-season and came on strong at the end. And sometimes when these teams are too hot, like throughout the months of January, February, they falter in March. So I'll be interested to see what happens there, especially, I'm sure Purdue is out for revenge after last year going out in the first round. So I'm excited to get back into some college basketball, pick up my Heat, watching the Heat again soon. And golf is coming up too. So we have stuff on the horizon to look forward to.
I'm going to bet against Purdue in every single tournament game, which means I'm going to lose all those bets. So you should bet on them to win the title.
You're only going to need to make that bet once, probably.
Let's hope so. But other than that, yeah, I'm very pumped for the tournament. We'll get a little more into that. I mean, it's always exciting. I love this time of year. I mean, NBA All-Star break is always kind of fun too. You get some of their they make the dunk competition not so much, but 3-pointers, and then the actual game can be it's a fun background noise.
It is. We're not in as bad of a time as like the summer right now. I feel like there's like a letdown after football where you're like, whoa, oh man, this sucks. But baseball's coming up soon, college basketball, NBA. We're in a good point, so I think we'll be okay for the next few months. And then we have the draft coming up. So I feel like we should give ourselves a football rest for now. Get into it with the other sports, and go from there.
But Sarah, the question that everybody's been wondering is, how is that dollar in your betting account doing?
Oh my God. Okay. So after we finished our last episode, I went on my splurge to try and gain my money back in splurge by placing multiple 10-cent bets on college basketball games. They all lost.
Crazy.
They all lost. So then I was remaining with 12
cents. That's what you get.
12 cents again. So then I had to be strategic in my football bet, my Super Bowl bets, and I had to place them that night because, like I said, I was leaving the country the next day, and I did not. I'm at 0 in my DraftKings after the Super Bowl. Yeah, my TD parlay George Kittle killed me. He did not. We didn't talk about that in the Super Bowl. He was non-existent. Overall, I heard he was injured. I think a little bit beat up. I don't know. So he really killed me. So I'm gonna have to replenish the account at this point. I can't come back from 0-0-0 in there.
Well,
So.
if there's anybody that
We'll
knows
throw the
about
Venmo on me at the
yeah,
end of the show again.
and if there's anybody that knows about winning money in March Madness, it's Mike Blazel. So he'll be able
Oof.
to get you. He'll be able to get you back up to where you need to be coming into.
I am glad we didn't start Blazel's best bets. I would be off the show if we did that for last March Madness. That was the single worst 4 weeks of my life gambling.
But you know,
one day after another. I don't think I want to bet.
You know all that means though. You're due.
Yeah, that's it.
You're just due.
Listen, you miss every shot you don't take. I'll be back.
So we will get a little bit more into the betting coming next week, and we'll have a little bit more of a format for that. Just the timing of going right into the All-Star break. Basically, we're recording this on Thursday. There's only 3 games tonight, and then we're going right into the All-Star break. So not a whole lot to bet on.
Take the Warriors over the Jazz tonight.
Oh, we'll get it out tonight if you happen to listen right away.
Yeah,
take the free money.
Wait, let's record a different one in case they lose. Take the Jazz over the Warriors tonight.
All right, we'll cut that. Yeah.
Sasha, edit whichever one sounds good.
We will do that. But there is, I believe Mike's background is a little bit of a teaser. Another fun thing to be able to gamble on outside of football season. A little bit of golf is always exciting.
That's right. We've got the Genesis right now. We had the waste management, the wasted management tournament. And then we've got, I believe it's the Players is next, but Augusta's coming, and it's all we're getting there. The Genesis is fun. Tiger's making his return which is good. There was a video of Tiger Woods popping a Zin today.
I saw that. Yeah.
Also to relate to Josh Allen, do you know he was paired with him in the Pro-Am yesterday?
Josh Allen and Tiger Woods?
2 of the GOATs.
Were
out there playing around the golf.
Were you able to keep your pants on, or
it was my wet dream. I was like, enough. Football's over. Enough.
I had to call out of work.
Yeah, it shook me. It stopped me in my track. I was like, why is Tiger Woods and Josh Allen trending? And I clicked, and I'm like, oh, and there were just like videos of them talking. I'm like, oh my God, tell them how to win in a big game. Tell them how to motivate the team.
I think if you threw Derek Jeter and Steph Curry in that foursome, I think you would have emptied your bank account to be there.
That's it. Yeah, oh my God, that is what. All right, what would be your fantasy foursome of players that you'd want to like be a fly on the wall for?
Ooh,
that because you just named mine. That's it. That's the 4.
I was trying for you. I wasn't sure whether to go Steph
maybe
or
MJ.
Steph or MJ. So what one from each sport, and then does one of them have to be golf?
No, just one of them should be a golfer, but no, just your 4. They could all be from the same sport.
Right, from anything. I feel like I'd have to agree. It's got to be Jeter, 1,000%. Has to be, and then Tiger Woods. If the golf, I don't care. Like, and anybody would be fun. I mean, Mickelson, like with the gambling part, would be kind of fun to like listen to. But
you could probably take him for a lot of money too.
Yeah,
because you're playing with handicap, so it's all even.
Right. But Tiger's got to be the guy. Definitely Jeter. Strahan could be up there for me football wise. Eli does end up. Well, I'm trying to think of somebody. Who my favorite Giant was. It's got to be Strahan or Eli. And then let me think about a basketball. Sarah, you have any jump? Let me think of a basketball guy.
I'm thinking. I'm strategizing right now.
Can I just have Derek Jeter 4 times?
That's what all his girlfriends said.
just want that guy again. Really,
I couldn't imagine. It must be. I would imagine it's like you'd learn a lot more. Like they're not as like just to see them not be buttoned up like that over the course of 4 hours, like playing golf.
Yeah,
just you're gonna hear a lot of stuff. The things about like the way Michael Jordan would be like on a golf course, it's like not like the Michael Jordan you see on camera at all.
Yeah,
we'd be betting like $20,000 on a putt, like just crazy, like not the same guy.
Right. If I'm a fly on the wall, maybe MJ. If I have to play, I don't know if playing with MJ would be fun. I think it would just be stressful and I'd leave poor.
I would
Yeah.
not be able to play with any of these people. My golf game isn't like I don't have the shell to handle that to handle that golf. I would definitely take MJ though. That was my thought. Golf wise, I'm a big Rory McIlroy fan. So I feel like a Tiger is the obvious one. So I'm not going to say that because we already did, and I feel like that's it. So I'd be interested to see Rory, like you said, Mike. If we were playing this, like like guys loosening up a little bit, I'd be interested to kind of see what he has to say and what he's like without putting on his little pretty boy, PGA persona.
Mhm.
I have to say Dak Prescott because I have to know, does he have the clutch gene or not? Like I got to test him on the golf course from there.
He
Um,
gets up and immediately shanks it into the woods. You're like,
yeah, and
oh
then I'm like, oh,
no.
yep, from
He
here.
he thinks you're just there for a good time. And like every time he misses a shot, you're like, ugh, and just kind of like secretly like write something down like in your
I
pocket.
really
Like,
cry. I really like silently cry to myself. Like this is it. We're done. And then I would close it out with my all-time favorite, Emmett Smith, for sure. I feel like Emmett would be a good time on the golf course.
he
So
would definitely be a party.
I like that. That's fun.
That's a real
it's
strong
fun
one.
But like Dak, you do not have to say "here we go" before every shot.
Please no.
You guys just leave him at the turn. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go grab us all hot dogs. You come back, you guys are already halfway down the 10th.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love
His
that.
big shiny head, just the glare coming off. Dak, you got to move. Can't see. Can't see over that shine.
I think my whole group would be bald besides me. MJ, Emmett, Dak, basically all shiny heads there. So
Yeah, I think you might stick out like a sore thumb there.
You owe us. Who's your fourth, Sash?
I got to go Patrick Ewing. I was trying to think of anybody else. I was like maybe Allen Houston, but I would love to see just that enormous guy sweat on a golf course.
So sweaty. Yeah, he'd be very sweaty.
So sweaty, and there's no way that his swing is smooth. Actually, you know what? No, 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 no. I want Barkley. He's not my favorite player, but as far as just like a fourth on the team, I'd love to have Barkley in there. He loves to gamble. He loves to play golf. Make fun of his
yeah,
swing. Seems like he can take a joke. That seems like
that's
it's
a
a
good one. That's a good pick.
so
It's really
lots of
good.
fun. I like this.
See, guys, we're moving on. We're
Yeah.
okay. Look at us. We can make content that's not
Yeah,
football.
absolutely. I have faith in us. Listen, this was
All right, starting five basketball team that you play with, but also hang out with.
It'll be next time. But Mike, before we let anybody go here, you got a pick for the Genesis?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna pick it if we had gotten on. Will Zalatoris is fully healed from that back surgery
Mm,
that he had. Like he didn't play well at all last year, but 2 years ago he was finishing close to the top or at the top of a lot of tournaments and the majors. He is currently, I'm looking right now, he's 5 under, tied for fourth. That would have been my guy. Um, that's the one that I'm looking as like I want to see his odds as we get closer to majors because a year removed, I think, a lot of people are, they're going to want to see it again. But he was so awesome when other than he couldn't putt. That was I'm looking forward to actually watching like some of the third and fourth round over the weekend and seeing like, I want to see him play around the greens because he
yeah,
was one of like my favorites out there. Like he was really, really good.
I kind of like that. And
Kept it right in it.
this could be some good warm-ups too, because obviously coming off surgery is no joke. And I mean, we've seen it with Tiger and stuff. People don't always come back with the same exact stroke or the same exact swing. So if he's able to kind of put it together a little bit, stay near the top around here, get his form back in some actual competition, I definitely like that pick for some of these majors and bigger tournaments moving on through the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I love Cam Smith, who's in the live. He's not playing in this, but Cam Smith is always involved. And it was I think the British Open where him and Rory went face to face and he beat him. And like he's a player. He's really good. And Brooks is nasty in every tournament. He makes it fun. Like he's one of those guys who chases. He's got that tiger. Like he comes and gets people. So
Yeah, absolutely love it.
it's going to be great. And I haven't really followed golf until now going into this, but like the first two sets of tournaments that had gone off, it was like Scheffler's always in there,
Yeah,
always in there. He couldn't putt last year was his biggest from what I watched. He really struggled. So like again, it's all about how these guys play around the greens.
yeah. I just wish some of these
It's
guys.
really fun.
I just wish some of these guys that have a little more personality feel like Scheffler's amazing, but it's just like, you hear him interview, it's just like just a kind of a blog
Yeah.
guy. And I guess golf is kind of conducive to that. But I think it just have a live wire in there would just make, I feel like everybody would glom onto that and be so excited to root for somebody. Basically, as soon as a golfer comes on, pardon my take, or you hear him interviewed or something, and they're a cool guy, it's immediately just that much more fun to watch. When you have somebody, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
that dude made me laugh, and he's really funny, and he's really, incredible at golf. It's like I'll watch that all day.
Yeah, but you got to think like does Tiger Woods really have their personality is their play in golf. Like Tiger's not exactly a live wire either.
Oh, but when he hit those shots, like he's they're doing the fist pumps when he was young, and just like I
Yeah,
mean,
right.
utterly it was like acting like he was a guy on the golf course, like getting super pumped. I mean, obviously, his how incredible he was kind of spoke for itself, but we'll never see that again. Anybody being that dominant.
No.
So it's like in the moment, it's like no, go do some interviews, like go, look pumped, act like you want to be there, like make it exciting.
I saw a great stat that Scheffler has been world number one. Um, he's been number one in the world for like I don't know the exact thing. I think it's like 30 something weeks. And for him to tie Tiger Woods, he would need to be number one in the world every week until 2035.
Yeah, I did see that. I was
And
that
it's
was
like, whoa, like
That's
you
perspective on it. Yeah.
forget. Like, and golf wasn't like I really wasn't into golf as a kid. Like I would watch, the majors would be on. I would watch, you'd pay attention for Tiger, but I had, I don't it would have been amazing to be following it in the moment.
Yeah.
Like he just killed everybody.
Yeah,
Like it's unbelievable.
I saw it here because I pulled up. This was a classic. I saw it and it send it to your dad and grandpa stat. So it was yeah, Scotty Scheffler's been ranked number one for 73 total weeks. To catch Tiger Woods' record of total weeks at number one, he would need to hold the top spot continuously until October 21st, 2035, which is that's
It's insanity.
absolutely
Crazy.
so
Wow.
greatest of all time. A lot of fun. But
It'd
yeah,
be fun if he could get it together this year. We'll see.
yeah,
Not playing well right now.
Yeah, at least, yeah, have a top 5 or top 10 finish in a major. It's just that, electric. And he
Yep.
still has that feeling about guys. Like you hear guys talk about it, like getting paired with Tiger is still like, like holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep. One of a kind.
very cool. So we will start putting some stuff together. We got lots more segments and some more stuff to be talking about coming up now without football. Lots of fun gambling stuff, all sorts of other sports. This is where we found things. I started to try to get you. I'm going to start, tooting the Tottenham horn again. You guys got to get in the Premier League. I know you. Listen, I know there's time on weekends now. It's 2 hours. It's a lot of fun. Maybe we'll get into, get back into the Tour de France stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming. So we'll obviously start submitting some stuff. We'll get some more of you listeners involved, which is always going to be exciting. So we appreciate you guys listening, sticking with us through the football season, and a lot more stuff, a lot more fun stuff to come. So as always, follow us at Play Your Yards Right on Instagram, Play Your Bets Right on Twitter, where you can find all of Mike's upcoming bets for lots of golf stuff and basketball things. And then don't forget to watch us on YouTube as well, wherever you get podcasts. But seeing our beautiful faces on YouTube is always fun. So we love you. We appreciate you. And we will talk to you next week.